पीएचडी के बारे में पूछना।
हम कभी बात नहीं करते
कभी
पीएचडी के बारे
नहीं
में। मेरे को उनका पीएचडी नहीं पता, उनको मेरा पीएचडी नहीं
तो
पता।
अच्छा टाइम है ना ये।
So, hi sir. So we know that you've had a very wide range of experiences, starting from your education of product design and before that architecture.
Yeah.
You also like traveling a lot.
Yeah.
So, at what all places have you traveled till now?
Actually, traveling as people define it is not that what I understand is. I generally love solo driving rather than traveling. So many a times a single vehicle packed with food and music, and I go on traveling to places which I possibly have not planned for. And then en route, at times I stay back on road and then talk to people, observe things. And during my graduation also these kind of things happened, though at that time, possibly in 94 when I graduated, we didn't have these kind of vehicles then. But the cycle was the only vehicle which we had, and cycle से हम लोग घूमते थे. So that allowed to talk to people. And then when I was in my post graduation at Delhi, SPA, Delhi has this advantage of having very beautiful art based small villages in and around. There are around, I think, 10-15 of them, like Saharanpur, Firozabad, Muradabad. These all, like, they work on brass, they work on china clay, they work on glass. And visiting these places, allowed me to understand their culture and talk to them and how that art proliferated within them. So that was one of the rich experiences which I chose to select Delhi as my place of post graduation. I had this opportunity to do my post graduation in Delhi also. At Mumbai, IDC Mumbai. So, but both the interviews were on the same day. And so finally I had to take a call on to which institute.
Okay.
So I selected the city rather than the course. And day one, Delhi offered me a lot of things, a lot of cross-cultural experiences.
And sir, I also know that you are a big foodie.
Yeah.
You love food. So how do you sort of correlate this passion of travel and food together? And I sort of want to know the history, like, where it all began for you, because ultimately I would ask you, that how is it like coming all together to your definition of architecture? So all these details of your life, I think we need to have sort of a historical look into it. So travel, food.
Yeah. Look, when I went to post-graduation at Delhi, it actually changed my perspective towards looking at life, in a sense that design and life got intermingled into each other. So one could start searching design into everything, right from obviously food, languages, clothes, how people talk, how people sit. And these allowed me to de-notify these things, smaller things, into small parts, and then try to reassemble them when I get back. Like, for example, when I was in first year, I had been visiting this small town called as Khurja, near Delhi. This entire town is on into china clay. So you visit at any house, you'll find people working on cups, glasses, and mugs and everything, china clay, bone china, and so many things. They also had a very specific way of cooking food there, because utensils were made in China. So we had a food in dhaba, and then when I came back, I just started remembering them as to what smells came into my mind. And then one could imagine as to how these small ingredients are treated, and then trying them and then trying to cook what I want to. So I didn't learn cooking per se formally at anyone's place. So that allowed me to experiment a lot.
Yeah.
Because the moment you have a formal training into something, you go into a very restricted format of कि ऐसे ऐसे करना है करके. Like many people try to combine things which we don't routinely do that. Like for example, food के बारे में पूछा इसलिए. many people don't combine hing and mutton. You might have not heard that.
Yeah.
Even good and mutton. So I do combine that things.
Okay.
So I use hing, I use good, and these kind of things. You know, one try to understand as to what kind of smells these small ingredients could do to the main ingredient of the food, and that allowed me to experiment into things. Though formal education allows you to streamline things, but cooking I never had a formal this thing. So that allowed me to experiment a lot, and then also design some equipments to cook these kind of things. Possibly you have seen that. Also design some utensils and instruments which are used specifically to understand what you're cooking and how these instruments could be.
So then it means that, you know, your creativity sort of permeates into everything that you see around you, and is that how you would
Yes, that's
like
what,
to put it?
that's what I was about to tell you, that this post-graduation in design allowed me to experiment and, you know, practice design into all sorts of areas. Not architecture per se or product design per se, but into everything. Like if in case in more loose things in your life, like for example, how do you look at your life in terms of spending your time, for example. So then you look at that into a format of design, and then you find out कि कुछ नहीं करने से भी बहुत सारा चीज़ें मिल जाती है. So then you start, you know, doing those things wherein you don't want to do anything.
The art of doing
art of
nothing.
doing nothing. And then you need to add lot of things to that, you know. उसको साकार करने के लिए हम लोग बहुत सारी चीज़ें फिर ढूंढने लग जाते हैं. क्या क्या होनी चाहिए, तो अलग टाइप का टेबल बन जाता है, अलग टाइप की कुर्सी बन जाती है, देन कुशनिंग आ जाता है. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स दे कम इनटू पिक्चर, एंड देन द मोमेंट वी से दैट दे आर नॉट टू बी डन फॉर समबडी एल्स, दे आर फॉर मी, तो वो शेमलेस हो जाते हैं. एंड दैट अलाउज मी टू, यू नो, एक्सपेरिमेंट विद दोज थिंग्स बिकॉज दे आर ओनली फॉर मी.
Yeah. So then, does this journey begin on an individual level? Would you like to put this, like, you know, how would you place the self in the center of all these things that of?
I believe that whenever one should go in for any kind of creative endeavor, he has to be alone, essentially alone.
Okay.
Even आप अगर सॉन्ग्स बनाने वाले हो, या तो लिखने वाले हो, या तो कुक करने वाले हो, या तो डिज़ाइन करने वाले हो, यू शुड बी अलोन. द मोमेंट देयर इज समबडी विथ यू, देयर इज अ बायस ओपिनियन कमिंग इन, even if in case the person who is there accompanying you does not say anything, still
There's a passive influence.
there is a passive interference, and then you say that कि नहीं इसको क्या लगेगा, and then you get bogged down with the things. So I find it these kind of parallels with so many people. The other day I was seeing this interview by Ilaiyaraaja, and he said that I believed in designing my music when I was alone, and his student A.R. Rahman, great, he also did the same thing. He used to design his music alone, record his music alone, play his music alone, mix his music alone.
Yeah. In fact, his studio is actually like that. There is only one person, one chair.
Yeah.
And all the recording setup.
So he said that when I have to use a tabla, there is a standard way of using a tabla. Like tabla comes with lot of traditional and religious and mythological backdrops. वो उसको पोज दिया, and then he came out with something else. So being alone, he said that this allowed me to do those things. So the first movie which he did was Rosa.
Yes.
And Mani Ratnam has seen him in some jingles. And Mani Ratnam expressed that I want to work with you. He said, why don't you come to my studio? So when he visited his studio, A.R. Rahman's studio was just 10 by 10 feet. And he said, where are the other people? He said, I am the person who is going to be there alone.
Yeah.
And that belief, Mani Ratnam said that he was so brutal in his expression, that I am the person who is going to do these things, you know. And he worked alone. A.R. Rahman worked alone. And he experimented with lot of instruments and equipments. In true version, he did a lot of fusion, though he does not call it as fusion.
Fusion, yes.
But he does a lot of fusion in terms of using South Indian instruments and Indian instruments, the contemporary ones, the guitars, the string instruments. And I feel because he works alone It allows him to do all these things. So any creative person possibly should venture alone. I think that allows him to, take risks, take a flip side of what is happening around, and also it defines his life accordingly. कि ये एक यूनिक तरीके से उसका जर्नी डिफाइन हो जाता है.
True.
Yeah.
And so then, what about your love for reading? What would you like to say about that?
Yeah.
And I especially wanted you to address why is it important, especially as teachers, we always think that the students should have a knack of reading. But I don't think it's limited to students. Like, reading should be done by everyone and anyone for that matter. So for you personally, why is reading important?
Yeah, I endorse what you're saying, that reading is terribly important because, it allows you to have a point of view of that writer who has written on a particular context. And when I say reading, it has to be, of varied subject, not about your subject matter specifically. I define reading that way. If in case I'm reading on architecture, I don't count that as reading, my reading.
Because that's
the part of my subject,
yes.
And so I won't count the reading on design, on architecture as my reading.
Yeah.
I would possibly count reading Gruha Shobha to some extent as my reading, because that gives me one point of view. So one should read on any topic, and then that gives us a lot of background to talk to a person. That establishes a nice platform to talk to any person.
Yeah.
Be it a doctor, or a person accompanying you in a train, or anybody who is there around. And because you've read it somewhere on some topic which is common in between that person and you, and that immediately establishes a rapport. You could connect yourself and for that matter, you don't find it difficult to, establish some kind of connect with that person. अगर उसके बारे में आपने पढ़ा हो पहले तो. So if you start reading diversified way, extremely diversified way, like काय पे भी पढ़ो आप लोग. There's a lot of fun in reading which doesn't have any kind of reference.
So it does not have a teleological end, or it's not an end product in itself. It's a process.
Many times I read those newspaper cuttings which we find in the press के newspaper में आ जाते हैं कई बार. So I collect them when I'm traveling. तो 6-7 हम लोग collect कर लेते हैं, and then I start reading them and start to connect them कि ये newspaper कब का होगा और what kind of news is coming in. A lot of cultural overtones and strings start working on that. So a single paper gives a lot of history. So that allows us to, make sense into understanding things. So reading and collecting these kind of information allows you to do. I remember when I was a student, we used to stay opposite Professor Vitthal Wag's house. I don't know whether you have heard his name or not. Professor Vitthal Wag is a Marathi poet.
Okay.
And he specifically Varadi कविता लिहितो.
Okay.
काया माती तो माती ते हे जे गाणं आहे त्यांनी लिहिलेलं.
अच्छा, okay.
He's a good friend of Jabbar Patel and Nana Patekar and so many people. So he used to stay in front of his house. And this fellow has done his PhD on Marathi Varadi Mani.
Okay.
त्याचं त्यांनी कलेक्शन केलं. And during that period, he used to visit a lot of villages. और वो आजीबाई सोबत बसून राहणे, and then he used to sit with people and just write down.
Whatever they are
Whatever they sing. And
talking in their common.
And he used to write it down. And we as kids, first year, second year, used to accompany. उसके साथ में हम लोग घूमते थे because he used to get a vehicle from the college, and for us it was a joy trip. One more thing which he used to do is he used to visit the bazaars, local bazaar, next day.
Okay.
जिस दिन बाजार होगा, जैसे शुक्रवार बाजार है, शुक्रवार बाजार होने के नेक्स्ट दिन जाने का.
Okay.
And then collect all those things which are lying around in the bazaar. Broken bangles, then कुछ पन्नी, चप्पल्स टूटे हुए हैं, boxes, so many things. So to collect them, all of them. And then for a week he used to just sit them, keeping like that, and try to find out stories about those small things which he gets. Some green bangles, red bangles, and some tutu chappal. And then he would then segregate them and make murals out of that. Now you visit his house in Akola, you'll find very beautiful murals done in these kind of things which he does. So the important thing, what I find is like these small things which we see in the bazaars, the next day of the bazaar, they give a lot of stories, to understand things like a wrapper of a soap, for example. Pada hai, and then you write it and understand, and then you find out that what aspirations people had at that time about a small piece of soap. So such kind of minute observations, they allowed me to build up things in terms of how to read. So when you said reading, it's not about just books.
Books, yes.
So I was coming to that.
Yes.
So it's not about just books. So reading is about all these small things which are around you, and then you immediately start attaching strings to it, and then you try to find out meaning to that. So that is how I look at reading. And that's why reading about architecture and design doesn't make sense to me right now.
But then would you say like this habit of reading not only books but everything around you, trying to figure out the culture, the symbols, it should be like a very basic part of a training of an individual who is aspiring to be an architect, because then it would make him understand the world in a better manner, right?
Yes, to some extent, yes. But then, such things cannot be taught, I feel that. There has to have an inherent urge to, though there could be a direction given by the teacher or some person, कि ऐसा मैं करता हूँ, and then one could try to search out not that, but something which is more richer than what he or she has done with. So that internal urge to find out stories about things around and how to read about. So that has to be there in all students. So that is what we call as aptitude of a student. So
Yeah.
of late this aptitude test has gone to an entirely different level.
Yeah.
But possibly this is what an aptitude of a student of any creative education should be.
Okay.
Rather.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you go to bazaar and then you see these things in and around. Then you find out that the kind of food you have over there, and ये सब चीज़ों का तुमको फिर अहमियत पता चल जाता है. And that's the reason possibly I came back running off from Delhi to Nagpur.
Nagpur.
Yeah, to a smaller town.
Also it sparks of more of a traveling mania inside you, like you want to go to different contexts, you want to meet different people possibly and look at their objects, their houses, so it sort of diversifies your traveling aspirations also.
Yes. But one thing possibly हिंदी में एक शब्द है ठहराव.
हाँ.
तो
It's a very deep rooted word. Yes.
So bigger town does not offer you those ठहरावs. Like Delhi, Mumbai, everybody is running around. So I thought then that staying back in Delhi won't allow me to nourish my hobbies and do all kind of things which possibly I would never do.
For your personal growth.
Yeah, personal growth. So that's why come back to smaller town. You have a lot of time, to do. Like if in case you look at my timeline, so I used to have full-time teaching, full-time office, but at the same time, lot of time to do rallies, to do wildlife photography, to do traveling, and so many things.
Yes.
So in spite of these two full-times, still had a lot of time to do all those things.
Yes, and I remember one time you said that if you want to do something, you will always be able to find time to do it, and you will not complain that no, I don't. No, you don't get to complain in that.
I still don't complain. I still find it ridiculous when people say that मेरे पास time नहीं है, because ऐसे हो ही नहीं सकता. Hardly you need very small amount of time to take a call and decision and do something. Like I remember when I used to travel to Gondia every Sunday. So we used to make a point that some amount of wildlife photography is happening around. And during that time I have seen some villages. That was in 96.
Okay.
And after 16-20 years, we documented those villages in RDS.
Okay.
So look at the imagery which was there in my mind at that time, and कि इसका कुछ तो करना है करके.
But it happened 14
It happened
years.
after so many
14 years later.
After 14 years. So the villages Dongargaon and Gudma which we did.
Yes.
These are some villages which we visited at that time when I was practicing in India, and I thought that these are very beautiful villages, need to be documented, need to be learned, and that then one tries to find out an opportunity to do these things. So teaching allows you to innovate these things. So being a teacher, it's difficult, and at the same time it's very easy also. Like you could be extremely mundane teaching the same subject, but then you could re-innovate every time you do and say that this is how I would look at this subject at every new year times. So that would allow you to do a lot of new things. So that is how these villages came into picture and this documentation happened. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I was also thinking, like, even I'm into teaching. I followed your footsteps in a certain kind of a way, and we've also had so many discussions about the word we use, pedagogy, all the time. So, any special take on how architecture is evolving in today's time, and or what are your recommendations, or what would you want students or any person who is into creativity to hold on to, like some basic stuff. Like, for example, for an athlete, probably his diet and exercise regimen is very important for his mind and body to be at its best all the time. So for an architect, what would that be?
Well, as we have discussed, one of the parts is about reading. Obviously, he should be a voracious reader about so many things. But at the same time, I would say that if in case things allow you, one should travel at least for a year or so.
And possibly solo?
Yes, solo travel to hinterlands. And if in case their parents and the finances, everything allows you to do those things, 1 year you should travel and look around. India is such a fantastic country, and when you travel to these hinterlands, smaller towns, smaller villages, you see so many things. And then possibly could one come back and then think of what kind of practice do I need to do for my society. Then one could decide what gives me joy.
Yeah, so I think when I was reflecting on this, like, why do we travel, and how does it sort of help us build our own trajectory of architecture, I think primarily we architects become empaths of the world. Like, we always have this, I don't know, call it an ego or something, but we think we understand things better in a better fashion, more than other people maybe, because I think traveling makes us that. And empathy is something which is very much relevant to architecture. Like, if I do not empathize with the other person or the other context, it's not going to give the knowledge to me to build something for him. I think that is also...
Unfortunately, like all creative fields, even architecture, they are generally very high in their egos.
Yes.
And specifically, higher education brings in again more ego.
Yes.
And this builds up a huge amount of wall around them.
I think it also builds a lot of illusions for that
Yes.
person also. Like,
Yes. And it does not allow other people to penetrate into.
yeah.
And the word empathy, I think, is more important for the students to understand, for the architects to understand, for that matter. But then the practice of an architect, what I see is what it gives joy to a person. Like there are good architects who have been doing huge projects, but those are all managers who get the things done. I have a friend of mine in Bangalore, my classmate, who has a huge office, and huge turnover, and he's a manufacturing unit, interiors, turnkey.
Acha, turnkey.
Turnkey. मतलब 600 square meter office, 700 square meter office, Apple के सब stores उसके तरफ वगैरह वगैरह. But he says that he hardly has done any creative work.
Okay, it's become mechanical for him.
It's a mechanical. He's a big manager. He's a big manager, and he just sources things and gets things done, and just checks whether things are as per the SOP or not. He many times says, "Ki yaar, I find your way of life more satisfying in terms of doing even smaller things, which are really innovative for yourself." So as a student, obviously. Money counts, but then I think you should plan your career at two levels, two directions. One could be where it makes you earn money.
Because money is
Yeah,
important.
money is important. Obviously, I won't say that कि money पैसा तो लगेगा ही लगेगा. So one direction could be wherein you have invested a lot of time and resources and your skill into earning money. And second could be wherein you are earning a lot of satisfaction. So if in case you have these two paths and they don't mingle with each other, then it's best. So possibly you haven't visited my office yet.
No,
Yeah,
sir, I
but
did
my
not.
office is something else, so it functions like that.
Okay.
So it earns me money, and this other parts earns me a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
So दो डायरेक्शन में हम लोग अगर प्लान करते हैं हमारा करियर, so that is fantastic. Both of the things happens very nicely, and it allows you to allows a lot of tolerance rather than I'd say.
Yeah, sure. One of the things that I wanted to do was play with the term architecture. So not a term, let's say it's like a word, let's treat it as a word. So architecture actually has a very general meaning, like architecture of a place, architecture of a program, or architecture of stage. So can you give us more general examples of where do you place that word of architecture in?
No, like I said, I place design in a much wider sense. Similarly, I place architecture in such wider sense. Like some years ago, I remember when we were working on rally. एक रैली हमने हमारा ग्रुप ने ऑर्गेनाइज किया था, एंड वी वर रिक्वायर्ड टू डिज़ाइन अ पाथ रूट जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं. बाय दिस रूट दिस व्हीकल्स वुड गो, follow that route, and then within that time frame they have to reach there and come back. So this TSD rallies बोलते हैं, a lot of complex term. So this TSD rally का route design करना होता है. So I being the member and being an architect, I placed into that format, you know, and they all thought कि अरे ये तो कुछ अलग ही सोच रहा है, and this becomes more enjoyable for the participants and also more efficient for the organizers. So that is how I place architecture, wherein I talk about efficiency in terms of whatever things are to be executed and what kind of value addition could be done to that particular situation. So architecture has that wider sense of application for me. So we designed that route for the rallies, and everybody enjoyed the route कि किस तरीके से होना चाहिए करके. So that is how it went on.
So another dimension which is related to architecture is films. I wanted to talk about. So what are your interests? Are you into it, or
I'm not so much into the films actually, and love watching documentaries as such, but not seen feature films.
okay?
So, but some films I do love watching because of its photography, specifically movies by Santosh Sivan. Some Malayalam movies are very nicely done with beautiful photography, and some movies because of its music.
Current generation is so obsessed with image. So is that right or is that wrong? And how does it, sort of become a part of the architectural
image as
education?
such, when we talk about movies, the image comes as a very ready-made palette for us. So there is very less amount of imagination left for a person to generate. As against, like we had discussion regarding reading, it allows you to build up a lot of image. You could paint it, you could, decorate it gradually. But movies, there is a ready-made palette which is there, and very less amount of things are left to add with, except for some movies by Mani Ratnam or such, which allows you to keep yourself engaged into building up images. Now, as against that, you were talking about image building in terms of the backdrop of social media, you said. So things have changed, and earlier when we didn't have this, possibly the expression of image was not so relevant. Of late, yes, with Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and everything coming, people are more concerned about what one's image and what people think about you, because we routinely go on checking around what is happening. So possibly that's too virtual to me, but apparently people get engaged into those things a lot of late.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do.
Yes.
And does it sort of affect their sensitivity towards education and especially architectural education? Do you think that trend is coming up nowadays? Is it affecting their, like if I say very basic things like, you know, what kind of building they want to make, what kind of material they want to choose? Because all of it actually collates into making of an image. So do you think that's happening nowadays?
I
Because
think it's a bit a difficult situation for people around with these kind of tools and platforms available, and the kind of practice they do. Because in earlier days, like in your and my times, we didn't have this overactive participation into these platforms.
yes.
And that's why our imagery for our architecture was limited to what we used to do. But of late, these all people have this opportunity of looking into so many things and layers of all kind of people around. And when they actually work into their practice, they find it extremely difficult to come to terms as to what to do. So these things possibly elevate themselves to a much higher level, and for them it becomes more difficult to start their actual practice at grassroots level. So that way it's a bit difficult situation for today's architects. They have a baggage actually.
I think, yeah, that's a correct word because that baggage and there's a lot of weight on
Yeah.
them already.
So we didn't have that baggage at that
Yeah.
time. We were completely blank, and what we do is to what we have seen it.
Yeah. So they're
So-
like relatively, they're not free of all those
Yeah.
visuals that they sort of carry with them or,
So
you know,
that's what
accumulate.
I was trying to tell you. The first conversation when we started was about doing something alone. So over here there is a social media baggage which is always with you.
Yeah.
So you're not alone that way. So I remember the first project which I did long back in '94 possibly. So we did a huge resort, and it was a combination of load bearing and frame structure.
Okay.
So first project, load bearing and frame structure. Possibly people might have said कि नहीं ऐसा होता ही नहीं है. But I was working alone and we said that let's go without it. And that project has come out extremely beautiful in the sense that half of the project it comes in layers. You know, some part is in load bearing and some is in frame structures. So because we are working with alone, it allows us to take risk and believe in ourselves. This baggage of social media always makes you think that somebody is watching you, somebody is seeing you, somebody is going to react to that what you're going to do, and so becomes a bit difficult to be so called as alone.
Independent, alone.
Yeah, you're not alone in
Yeah.
that case.
So, you know, on that note, sir, I have a line which has always stayed with me since I've read it. So, Rumi Rumi had his school of Sufism in the place called Konya in Turkey, and he's even buried there. Like, you know, he has the his place of death is Konya, and there's a school now of Sufism, and it's a very nice tourist place, I could say. You don't really experience Sufism, like, you know, you don't start dancing, but there are, you know, certain things that you can identify when you go to that place. One thing is, like, you know, all of those Sufi saints, for example, like probably similar to the architecture of viharas, they had their own chambers where they could place themselves in isolation. And in Rumi's teachings also, isolation plays a very important role, formative role in becoming a Sufi saint, or, you know, getting into that school of Sufism. So he said that, you know, to learn something you have to be empty first.
Yeah.
And if you are not empty, you are not going to learn anything
Precisely.
new.
Yeah.
So I think, as you said, you know, you have to be alone, and it also has to somewhere, you know, make sense with the emptiness that you need to, you know,
Yeah.
develop probably.
So that is all lot of common things what you are trying to tell me.
Yeah.
That being alone and being empty is a lot of synonym in a sense. But then with this kind of backdrop which you have just quoted earlier about the social media and the imagery, so no person is empty in that sense.
Yeah.
Because these all social media watches you continuously.
Yeah.
And even if in case you post some photographs on your social media, because continuously think what's going to happen around
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
So you're not empty in that sense.
Yes.
So you need to be alone in that sense. So this is what was my context of saying that if in case you want to be creatively rich, these two words possibly makes a lot of sense. One is being empty, as you have said that Sufism and Rumi has been pointing it out, and second part is about, yes, one has to be extremely alone, not in terms of his physical manifestation, but
The mental space.
yeah, you have to be alone, and then only things comes out. Really fundamentally different things could be experimented. And also I feel that you need to have a lot of self belief and guts. वो कई बार लोगों में नहीं रहता है, and because they are over pampered, maybe of late the kind of society we live into. Earlier we had a lot of joint families, now nuclear families, single kids होते हैं, तो kids are many times extremely pampered, and so the ability to take risk and the ability to have guts.
Also, I think to be
yeah.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's
obviously.
also
Because,
equally.
you know, unless until you don't experience failures, you can't be toughened. You need to have a experience about how you feel about failures. So it may be within your friends, maybe when you play something, maybe when you do something. But overprotective parents does not allow you of late to see their kids being exposed to these kind of things. Like our parents never bothered about
What you are doing.
what I was doing, and
Yeah.
where I fell और कब आके मैं गिर के पड़ा हूँ. And after 3 days used to see कि there's a lot of wounds on my knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these kind of things I don't think is possible today.
Yeah.
Even a small bruise on your hand and you have gone to the clinic.
Hospital, yeah.
And then the hospital asked for x-rays and I don't know what all things.
Yeah.
So things have changed a lot, obviously,
Yes.
because of this digital media coming into picture, and playing things have ground play, physical play, ये सब खत्म हो गया. So that's why last year you were not there. Last year we had this reviving of all our traditional games
Like.
in Vertical Design Studio.
Okay. Yeah.
So how do we revive all those games which we have forgotten?
Yeah.
And what are the manifestation comes into, like leadership qualities आती है उसमें, group working होती है, and so many things. So we identified 4 games and how to revive them. And many students and many kids even don't know all these games. So this helped lot of things to be built up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, to sum up, do you have any important message for all of us, like from
I
all?
want to be a
all
kind of
from all
person who
you.
could sermon things, you know, but message as such, no. मतलब मैं जनरली ये सोचते रहता हूँ, हम लोग कई बार इसके ऊपर भी सोचते रहते हैं कि करना है कि नहीं करना है इसमें. सो आई बिलीव इन वन मोटो, दैट इज अब नहीं तो कब.
Okay. अब नहीं तो
अब
कब.
नहीं तो कब.
Okay.
डोंट थिंक अबाउट इट कि मैं बाद में करूँगा, है तो कभी देखेंगे बाद में. नो, जस्ट डोंट थिंक अबाउट इट, जस्ट गेट इट डन. मे इट बी परचेसिंग सम बिग थिंग, और मे इट बी गेटिंग इनटू समथिंग, गेटिंग इन इंडल्जिंग इनटू समथिंग, व्हाटएवर इट इज.
Good or bad.
Whatever it is. अब नहीं तो कब ये पॉलिसी फॉलो करो and just go ahead with it. And then be ready for whatever the consequences are going to be there. So if in case happens, it's enjoyable life, and then you should have grudges about कि ये मैं नहीं कर पाया करके. But many times we sit back and think कि करूँ क्या, नहीं करूँ क्या. So there are some incidental things which we follow into this particular statement कि अभी करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए. There could be long term things, like we need to do a big project, और ये धीरे धीरे बढ़ते जा रहा है, कंसिस्टेंटली उसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं हम लोग कई सालों तक. और like the weekend home which I do. So it's been 6 years I've been working on it, and I would be possibly working for 6 more years because I don't want to complete it. Completion would basically stop my association with that
Yes.
project.
Yes.
So it's a very gradual weaving of things coming up. धीरे धीरे उसको करना है, बट वो अब नहीं तो कब इज नॉट अ हेस्ट, यू नो, इज द कंसिस्टेंसी इनटू थिंग्स कि इसको करना ही है. सो दिस अब नहीं तो कब इज नाउ 12 years फॉर मी,
ओके.
यू नो. सो दैट इज हाउ टाइम उसमें स्केल डाउन हो जाता है.
Okay. A decade of अब नहीं तो कब.
Yes, yes. So that is how one has to look at those things. So this is what I would recommend everybody to go for. I don't
Okay.
know how do it goes on, but yes, that covers so many things actually simultaneously.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was very nice having this informal chat with
It
you.
was really informal.
So we had we sort of looked into what is emptiness, what is being alone, ab nahi to kab, travel, food, almost everything we
Yeah.
covered. So yeah, thank you sir, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Okay.